everybody. So it's Tuesday today. Tuesday means that I've got a live for you. I've got new tips to help you get more clients for your bookkeeping business through content. So today I'm going to be talking about USPs. And I did research on bookkeeping companies while I was putting this together because I wanted to get you bookkeeping specific examples that would help you. So I'll use some, like some pop culture references to help make it clear like what some bigger companies are doing, what other bookkeepers I see doing and have done well, and what it looks like. So let's go ahead and get started. I'll tell you what a USP is, how to make one, and generally how to use it. So let's jump in. All right, USP, this is what helps you stand out from the crowd. This is something called a unique selling point, if you haven't heard it before. It's basically answering the question, why you? If any of you guys are bookkeepers and in those bookkeeping groups, and see just a bunch of other bookkeeping businesses, sometimes you may feel like you're kind of like lost in the ocean. It's just like, I'm offering pretty much the same services, right? So why would anyone pick me? So this is something that you sit down and figure out as a way to position your company, your branding, your voice, your message, to help tell people why you. This is tied in also with niche as well. There's a lot of places where I can see it overlapping in my business and in general. But not always. You can have a way of standing out from the crowd that isn't niche related. So I have examples of that, like I said, specifically from bookkeepers. So as far as USP, let me give you a couple of examples. So FedEx, their USP, their unique selling point, when it absolutely positively has to be there overnight. They're a delivery company, but what makes them unique is we can get it there overnight no matter what. That is how they advertise themselves. Domino's Pizza, they don't do this anymore, but theirs was fresh hot pizza delivered to your door in 30 minutes or less, or it's free. It's long, it's wordy, but you get the idea. It's hot pizza delivered fast and reliably, right? Geico, everyone knows Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% of car insurance. So that's more like benefit driven, just helping get the message across about what makes you different from other car insurance companies, things like that. Another way this can be done, I'll get into this more in a minute, is juxtaposing weird things. So these are all things that so these two things I found, they're real things. One, world's strongest librarian, and it's something that gets your attention. It's just like, what do you mean world's strongest librarian? You don't think those two things go together, and that's what makes that combination makes it stand out. It's like you're putting two things together to make something new. I'll get into an exercise on that in a second. Fitness for nerds. So, maybe someone is like nerdy or a gamer or doesn't get out very often but still wants to be healthy but doesn't want to deal with meatheads in the gym. Maybe you can cater to them. You see how it's like a weird crossover that makes you stop and go, oh, I wouldn't have put those two together. That's what makes these things unique. So it's not just a gym, it's a gym for nerds, it's a fitness program for nerds. Another thing, and having 100% female-owned business or female staff, that's a standing out point. Not everyone is like that. That's pretty rare. So if you have that, talk about it. It's something that sets you apart. So that's generally what the USP is. Why me? What makes me different? Why am I better? Why would you hire me? Because again, there are tons of bookkeeping companies, bookkeepers, accounting services out there. Why you? Why am I hiring you? So here's why having a USP really helps you in a lot of ways in getting clients and just making your marketing easier. Think about it. It's easier to convince a specific person to do something specifically for that person than try and convince a bunch of people on something that's way more general. Example. I had that's an example. So it's easier to, I can't think of an example, but you know what I mean. Because I'm on the spot now. But it's easier to convince a specific person about something that's just for them. I can convince a teenager about something teenage related much more than I can convince a room full of people to all do the same thing, because there's kids, if there's old people, unhealthy, there's a whole variety of issues to deal with. It's better to talk to one person because you can convince them much more easily. And here's another thing, when it comes to your business, it's easier to be great, actually great at a few things, or just a few types of clients, than to try and fail and be great at everything. I've been reading Mike Michalowicz's book Clockwork. It's really good if you haven't read it, but that's one of the things he talks about. He's just like, you kind of need to trim down your services or who you're serving so that you can be actually great at a few things. It's a lot easier to focus on a few things. And again, your USP can kind of help narrow that down. That's what happened for me in my business in a couple ways. So in the beginning, I used to write every single thing. I used to write everything from a single blog, like a single social media post, to a super long blog post, to this kind of website on this topic. And I started not really getting settled in with bookkeepers, but it was really hard for me to get good at something because I was doing all sorts of formats and I was doing all sorts of clients and all sorts of audiences, and that was really hard. It was more work for me, and it didn't make me as good as it. Once I got in on the whole writer for bookkeepers, it made things so much easier. Once I started to focus in on a few services, made things so much easier. So when you pick your unique selling point and really like dig in on that, it makes your life so much easier to be really good and stand out in this one thing in your business. As a bookkeeper, this could be getting cleanups done super fast. This could be very, very easy to read reports. This could be all sorts of things. Something very specific that could help set you apart in that way. Another thing, also from a business perspective, depending on what your unique selling point is, it can actually help polarize people. And I know when you're a new business, you're kind of freaked out. You don't want to alienate anyone. You want to have any work that comes to you. Once you get further down the line and you've had a few clients that aren't a good fit, that don't match your personality, that you don't communicate well with, you realize that it would have been better to not have worked with them than to have worked with them, honestly. So when you are more clear about what you're doing, who you're serving, maybe someone who, for example, FedEx, they care, their USP that they stand on is fast delivery, overnight delivery. But what if someone is more concerned, like, say someone's shipping fine art? They don't care about the fine art getting there the very next day. Maybe they care about a company that focuses more on like very careful handling, safe handling, promises, like 100% safety of the product on the way there. Do you see what I'm saying? So it helps you focus on the right people and work with the people who be happiest with the kind of things that you do. And another thing, this is just super off to the side, if you do have like a niche or a USP, you can write a whole page of it in your website. If you do it right, it actually fits well into a larger SEO strategy. I see this on some accounting websites. They'll have separate pages for different niches that they serve, and they do it in an SEO strategy way so that they're found. It's very interesting. Anyways, you can look that up. So that's why the USP works. You get known for something. You're not just a bookkeeper. You're the bookkeeper that blank. You're the bookkeeper that delivers blank. You're the bookkeeper that works with blank. You add the blank. It makes you more memorable. It makes people more willing, people in a smaller set more willing to hire you. Like I said, it's easier to convince a few people on a very specific thing. And also, like, it acts as it's a guiding light. So something I come across a lot with bookkeepers is they'll get paralyzed by how many things they could write, places they could post. What do I say? Do I not say this? Do I do this? You guys are so beautifully detail-oriented that you're trying to bring in all of the details. So here's what's beautiful about a unique selling point. If you decide that, 7-day turnarounds on like massive cleanups is like your USP, then ride that. Talk about that all the time. Focus on that more than anything else. It focuses and directs your business, your content, your messaging. By eliminating the rest, you can focus on where you're at. It makes it so much easier. And again, this is tied a lot with niches. So for example, if you go on Instagram, put in #bookkeeper, you will find so many bookkeepers that are specifically for creatives. So for example, one bookkeeper that I have a professional friendship with, I referred her to an artist friend of mine who needed bookkeeping help. And the reason why the artist hired her was because this bookkeeper, she loves the arts, she participates it, not in a professional level, but she participates in it and respects it, and she has almost exclusively artist clients. And that gave my artist friend the confidence that, oh, she knows how my business works, she's worked with other businesses like mine, and it actually was really good for her. By the way, you would think creatives maybe not be a profitable niche. I talked to her, she does really well. Anyways, another niche example, like for bookkeeping, as far as like what your unique selling point is or who you're serving. I've seen this a couple of times. If you're in the US and you are fluently bilingual in Spanish and English, you can market specifically to Spanish-speaking clients in the US. It's solving a real problem that not everyone else can solve. It sets you apart. Not all bookkeepers speak Spanish, right? That's a real need that you can solve. And again, that language barrier, I can't even tell you, just from my experience trying to learn Hebrew and build a life in Hebrew, having someone who speaks your language is huge. So if you have that skill, lean into it. Let that be something that sets you apart, that you can focus your marketing on and who you talk to. You're solving a unique problem. Another one, real life one, I had a client. She moved to the US, to Texas from Russia, married an American. She's an American citizen now. But as a result, just as her professional history developed and things like that, she became known as someone who could speak Russian. And so when Russian entrepreneurs would come here to live, to build businesses, to invest, she was someone who fulfilled a unique need for them. And that's actually something she has a specific page on her website for, to serve them. That makes her unique. It makes her stand out from the crowd. She's able to solve a specific problem for a specific set of people who need bookkeeping. So not just anybody who needs bookkeeping, this kind of person who needs this extra factor in this way. So you're trying to think of it in that way, that little extra. What's that extra? And sometimes that extra can just be bookkeeping for female entrepreneurs. The Chic CFO, I really like her stuff. One of her lines on her site that I like, she says, "I understand entrepreneurs because I am one." Again, having this like commonality with them makes a big difference. It makes people more willing to trust you, feel like they understand you, stuff like that. So again, your unique selling point does end up sometimes in niches, but not always, and I'll get into that more, because it can also just be more into like personality or values. So think of it in this way, like what are bookkeepers and accountants like known for stereotypically? Maybe they're boring, they have pocket protectors, what else? They have pocket protectors, they don't have a sense of humor, they speak corporate, they're really stiff, things like that. So flip the script, surprise them. Be the fun bookkeeper, be the bookkeeper sense of humor, be the bookkeeper that only wears fluorescent colors. See what I mean? Flip the script, make a surprise, things of that nature. However, keep in mind, of course, they still want a competent, excellent bookkeeper, but they are probably bored during that bookkeeping process. If you can find a way to do bookkeeping well and make it fun for them somehow, or interesting, or more enjoyable, fantastic. That solves a big problem. So you can be the fun bookkeeper, you can be super personable, you can be fun, you can be specifically, you know what I mean? It can be a personality thing too. So that's some examples about like what a USP is, how it works, stuff like that. Now I found this article that was really good that has exercises on how to find what your USP is, because sometimes it's really hard to figure that out and you're not quite sure if you have the right thing. And again, you may have to play with it a little bit, but it's just part of the process. But it does help. It does help a lot. It's helped me. It's helped other businesses too. So the good things you need to know up front first, of course, are to know your clients and their specific or unique problems. How you talk to hairdressers is very different than how you talk to construction managers. They have different business structures, different business needs and problems. So you would relate to them differently. You would try and solve different problems for them. They would care about different habits. So for example, if I'm talking to I don't know, like I'm trying to think of an example. We're talking to like if there's a gentleman that's looking at my services, he wants to hire me, and he mentions, oh, he really likes to be on motorcycles and stuff like that, then I'll tell him I have a motorcycle license. But if I'm talking to like a stay-at-home mom, and she really is into watercolor, I'm talking about watercolor with her. So I have to kind of like know who I'm talking to, that way I know what to emphasize in my personality, because I have these different things. What do your clients love to do? Is it specific to this group? Do they really all do this, all like that, stuff like that? So, and also it's really good to know yourself and the problems you're solving. Again, you have a list of services you're trying to offer. It's really important that you focus more on the problems you're solving for a business. Be a problem solver. So what problems are you solving? Because you can get a lot of really good ideas from this. Because again, you want your USP, your unique selling point, to be something that you can lump in with selling. It's supposed to help you sell. So if you've already had clients and you're not sure, start listening. Start listening on the phone calls. What did they say when they signed up with you? Did they have bad bookkeeper experiences in the past? When they did the bookkeeping themselves, what did they hate about it? Like, was it always too slow? Was it never ready by tax time? Maybe you can have like some kind of guarantee in that way. Did they, for example, when people sign up with me, my bookkeepers, and they hire me for my services, they'll specifically mention over and over again how much they love that I was a bookkeeper in the past, because it helps set me apart. It helps make them feel like I understand their business. So I remember that, and since my clients have said it, I start to say it more in my content as well. This is what my clients want. Okay, I'll respond to it. Now again, you may not have many clients to work from. That's okay. So if you're brand new and you're targeting a niche, fantastic. Read about them. Look at their businesses, their social media pages, their websites. What do they like? What do they do? Get to know where they are and where you have a crossover in interest. You don't have to force anything, just where you have a crossover in interest with this niche market, okay? And what kind of services do you want to provide? Do you love like tiny businesses and small monthly packages? You could do that all day long. Or are you more like a full service advisory kind of person? You want to do everything for them, all the whole 9 yards. What do you want to focus on? And here's another thing. So you also want to look what other bookkeepers are doing, because you'll be amazed that once you look at a few of them, you'll be like, oh, no one said this, or I really like that, things of that nature. So let me know. I have a list of like 100 bookkeeping websites and social media links. So if you need something to like work from, reach out. I'll send something to you. But look at the other bookkeepers in your field. Again, I did this before doing this live. What makes them memorable? What makes them forgettable? What stood out to you? And just write down the ideas as you go through I don't know, 10 or 15 links. I know it may sound like a lot, but you'll be amazed because you're interacting with something outside yourself, and you'll start to realize, oh, no one's mentioning this when it comes to their bookkeeping, or oh, you know what, this person did this, and that reminds me of something else I could do, right? So look at what your competitors are putting out there. The beautiful thing about this is websites and social media posts. It's all out there. It's all out there. Again, it's a really good way to get started, to figure out, to try and find where the hole is that you can come into, to stand out, to be different, to be the bookkeeper that blank, who serves blank, the fill in the blank. So here's 3 quick exercises that I got from this Copy Blogger article. It's a great website if you haven't come across it before. So one of them is really easy, and again, it's called the Crossroads USP. So you take 2 seemingly unrelated ideas, like I said, the world's strongest librarian, fitness for nerds, and you bring them together. So they can't be so different that, it's too bizarre that no one would actually buy it, but just weird enough. So for example, as far as something, it's the hit movie Speed. It was famously pitched as Die Hard on a Bus. And again, like I said before, think about, since it's 2 seemingly unrelated ideas, think about the stereotypes around bookkeepers and accountants. Boring, stiff, not fun. Try and flip the script. Is there something in your personality, your interests, your experience that would be surprising, that would get someone's attention, like World's Strongest Librarian? What could you put for yours? What's something that's jarring, that's surprising, that you can combine with yours? Yoga for stockbrokers, business blogging for veterinarians. So some examples from my work. So Diana's one of my favorite people. She's an e-commerce bookkeeper for creatives. And she has a master's degree in opera. So we brought this into the copy of her website because it's so different from the bookkeeping. It's kind of surprising, but it also gives her legitimacy, kind of like with my writing. So for this exercise, this Crossroads USP, I want you to take a second and think about, even write out, take a minute to write out what are the non-bookkeeping hobbies that you do, what are your quirks, your interests, previous job experience, trips that you've taken. Think of the non-bookkeeping part of yourself right now. Write out a list and then maybe see how something in there, like I said, intersects naturally with the kind of people you're looking to serve. Another one, the metaphor one. So a good example of this is you can kind of find an image to like tie everything together that kind of speaks more about the theme of your business, the heart of your business and stuff like that. There's a book called Duct Tape Marketing. So what do you think of when you think of duct tape? It's just like, okay, it's probably masculine, it's a little bit slapdash, but it gets the job done. And that's the idea of this duct tape marketing. It's just like it solves a problem short term, maybe not in the best way, but it gets the job done. So just using this duct tape image, that's great. I remember duct tape marketing. So, and it helps you be memorable. Oh, it's the duct tape marketer. Okay. So I've seen a couple of bookkeepers do this well. So one of my bookkeepers, she has this really cute bee theme. And, you know, think of all of the stuff that's associated with the bees. They're busy, they're hardworking, they get a lot done. So she uses that in her branding, in her social media posts, in her color scheme. It's yellow. So she's a hard worker, but it's also a cute theme. It's a hard worker and she's fun. It's not just like cold corporate messaging and colors. She's fun. Another bookkeeper that I like, she calls herself Wildflower Bookkeeping, and her focus is on growth, planting seeds, and she has all sorts of like puns kind of like thrown into her content. The business sprouted from the owner's desire to get back to her roots, things like that. So it kind of helps guide her visuals, her message. Again, it narrows the focus, which is actually really helpful. Another one, this is just a cute one. The bookkeeper herself, she wears these trendy like thick rimmed cat eye glasses, you know, and she uses that like in her logo, and it's all across it. Now, what do we associate with glasses? Okay, someone who's smart, someone who's maybe a bit nerdy, and it's just like, okay, but she's stylish too. So you see how it has all of the stuff that comes together. It's bringing across a message about the business and something that's easy to remember, a bee, a wildflower, glasses, things of that nature, you see? So the question for you to think about, if your business or your services or your clients could be represented in an animal or an item, what would it be? So what animal would be a good representation of your business? What item, like glasses or, you know what I mean, like a pen or whatever. What would it be? And you can have fun with it. Another one is persona driven. So this is people who do like the personal branding. It's just like they are the brand. So this is a good quote that I like. It's by Scott Stratton. He said, if you are your authentic self in your business, you have no competition. So there is that to think about. There's only one you. However, it will have to be based on your personality. And not everyone's comfortable with that, and that's okay. But maybe you're thinking, you know, like, I don't want to have you, I don't know, I'm not feeling the bumblebee thing, I'm not feeling the other stuff. Maybe this is the way to go. Just make it about you, and that's okay. You don't have to be a shock jock to do this. Like, my business is pretty much based around me, more or less. And it's fine. I'm not crazy, I'm not wild, I'm not, you know, asking you to follow me, or consider myself an influencer, because I'm not. It's just, I'm just the face of the business, and that's what works for me, and maybe that works for you, and that's okay. That sounds great. So that's a question you have to think about for that one. Do you want to be the face and identity of your business? You can, but you don't have to be. So those are 3 different ways to do it. Crossroads, so you're combining 2 seemingly unrelated things. The metaphors of picking like an animal, an item that represents like what you do or who you do it for. Or the persona. Think about how it's your personality making you the focus of the unique selling point. No one else does bookkeeping because no one else is me, and emphasizing that angle. And how to use it? Like I said, you can use it to narrow your marketing focus. You can use it to narrow your niche. It helps direct your content. And it also helps direct like your branding. Like I said, the bee theme, I made a lead magnet for this girl, and it's adorable, and it captures the spirit of how hardworking she is, but also how fun she is, how cute she is. She's great. She's adorable, and it brought across her branding more easily. It was easy to work with a bee theme. Same with another bookkeeper that I work with. I made a lead magnet for her. She works exclusively with hairdressers. So we did a pink color theme and with a whole bunch of like hairdresser items in the theme. It really helps to simplify and clarify what you're doing. And again, it helps you to get better at a few things and to really connect with a few people really well, then kind of connect mediocre across the board. So anyways, and just like so you know, this is a great tool to add to your toolbox. It's not a silver bullet or a magic pill, it never is, but it's a great thing to use and can make your life a lot easier in all of these things. So anyways, that is what I have about USPs. I mentioned that there's a list of bookkeeper websites. Let me know if you need that. And if you have any questions, need anything else written, or need some coaching and strategy services, you know where to find me. Regarding the writing, I've just started expanding and adding more writers to my team. So I'm ready to start pushing soon and doing a lot more writing for you guys. And I'm super excited about it. Anyways, I hope you guys have a good day, and I will see you next week. Bye.